everyone, and welcome back for day 2 of the ADAC SimRacing Expo 2021, powered by Covana. My name is Melly, and yes, it is time for our next stage time, which will be held by the virtual competition organization. And I mean, you guys saw the trailer, and the VCO is probably no stranger to you as well. I would say, without further ado, let's welcome on stage CEO of the virtual competition organization, Florian Haasper.
Hello.
Hey Flo, how's it going?
Nice to see you.
Thank you for being here
Yeah.
and for joining me. And I mean, this is now your stage time, the stage time of the virtual competition organization. And but first of all, there might be some people out there that have never heard of the virtual competition organization. Could you take us through what you've been up to?
Yeah, I mean, it's a long story, to be honest. We could fill the whole stage time, I would say. But, I mean, we entered the scene last year at the beginning of 2020. I mean, it was, let's say, the start of the boom of sim racing. To be honest, we had something up our sleeves already earlier on, so it was a coincidence that it all came together with the outbreak of COVID. And then we developed our own identity, I would say. And if I now go back in the past where we come from, I mean, just a short summary. I mean, we are rooted in real-world motor racing. We are doing a lot of communication work for big brands in Germany. Then we founded our agency, Burosud Plus, so we are connected to BS Competition as a sister, I would say, sister company. Yeah, and then we thought, okay, we need to address sim racing properly and esports racing. So I rather call it esports racing because this is the goal that we have. And we founded VCO and just experimented a lot and have been doing this over the past, 2 years now. And it's just big fun.
And that sounds like you have a lot of things to say, and we have a lot of things to talk about. So I'd say let's have a seat and jump straight into the matter, because you guys have quite a few things on your to-do list and on your agenda looking into the future. But before we jump to the future, let's talk about the past. I mean, you already said that you've been around for a while, and tell us what happened in those 2 years. What are the milestones you managed to achieve in the past?
You mean outside of VCO or when we started?
Like in general of VCO.
Of VCO, yeah. I mean, we kicked off VCO and we thought, okay, we want to partner this community. We want to be a part of the sim racing community and try to bring in what we got to know from our normal job, I would say, like doing good communication work, doing PR stuff, having the best photographers, or produce video and photo content for the sim racing community, and not just for the community, but also for media relations, for journalists and so on. So to give, I would say, esports racing the chance to grow and to expand. And we just thought, okay, there's something missing in the community, sort of an entity that does this as media professionals, and that was the initial point. And then then it went very quickly and very fast that we grew bigger and bigger.
I was about to say, we saw a very nice introduction video that you brought us. So you're not only a media partner to journalists or the sim racing community itself, you also conduct your own races.
Yeah, I mean, it's a twofold strategy, I would say, that we have. And from the beginning, we knew that first the community needs to get to know us and also accept us. Because if in sim racing the community says no, and says,
they say no.
There's someone who comes from real world motor racing and tries to tell you how it works. We were the absolute noobs, and we still are in many respects. So the first idea was to partner and to team up with existing series to strengthen them and to offer, I would say, our not services, but our support to them, just playing around with what we could do in a sim racing environment. So this is one aspect, like partnering with existing series. We've seen quite a few examples in the video, and I'm proud of this portfolio now because it's with every series we have a connection, with every event we have a connection. So big thanks to all of them to let us in and to accept us. And the second part of the strategy is to set up our own pinnacle events, like bringing new aspects, new ideas that VCO had, And we kicked this off last year with the VCO Pro Sim series, like getting a professional racing driver from the real world together with an esports racer. And we just had the idea. We said, okay, let's do it. We talked to RaceSpot. We talked to the guys from ADAC here, Mark Hennerizzi, to do race control and all that. And suddenly we, I would say, had created a very cool series with Max Verstappen being in, but also the hardcore sim racers, and it all got together. So this is an example of these pinnacle projects that we want to establish ourselves.
I see. That sounds very, very interesting and well thought through. So, but you're not also partnering with racing series, but also, for example, with the ADAC SimRacing Expo.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I was really excited to see the expo happening this year. I mean, we've never seen all these people. We've never been there and had an opportunity to talk to the sim racing community. And this is the amazing thing about the expo, to be honest. I mean, we are not so much into hardware and all that. This is not VCO stuff. But talking to people and meeting people and trying to support the community and to bring in something new, this is just so much cooler and better if you do it in person and you can really talk to people. And so I love the Sim Expo. And so when Kovana and me were in talks, it was obvious that we would do something together.
I mean, community is also a very vital part for you. So now you have the chance to be meeting your community for the very first time. What is your approach to having the community as such a vital part of the VCO?
Yeah, I mean, sim racing is the community. I mean, as I've said, if there's an iRacing event and there are 5,000 drivers competing, I mean, this is the biggest motor racing event in the world, you know, if you want. This is so crucial to VCO. If they say VCO is not doing the job right or is not interesting, then we can just skip it. Yeah, this is obvious. And also the teams, I mean, and the drivers. So, for instance, in the Pro Sim series, we try to involve them to develop our series. It was not like, here are the rules and we do it like this or that, but it was, okay, this went wrong in the first race, so we change it for the second, just to listen to the people. And I think this is what has worked quite well, and we were accepted or recepted well, and so we want to continue this, but it's hard work, you know, because you have to renew the ideas every day.
Absolutely, but teamwork makes the dream work, and it seems like it's working out for you guys. I mean, 2 projects were announced this week only, the BenQ Mobius Cup of Nations, presented by VCO, and of course Season 2 of the VCO Pro Sim series, as you already mentioned. But can you tell us what exactly is so special about these projects?
I mean, the Cup of Nations concept, and I'm always absolutely fair to who got which idea when. It was Williams Esports who approached us with this idea that they had for the Cup of Nations. And we did it with them and RaceSpot and iRacing last year for the first time. And I was just stunned by the format. Suddenly it was something different. It was not another 12-hour race or a 24-hour race and a 6-hour race. It was a tournament thing. In the end, it was Team Germany winning it with drivers from various teams. It was quite red line dominated, but it was a German national team. And I said, okay, this is a route that we have to keep thinking about, because this is esports to me rather than a sim racing digital twin series of real motor racing. Mm-hmm. And this really triggered something in our heads. And this, yeah, as we want, it was leading to the Pro Sim series, because we thought, okay, we can also do something new here. And as I've said before, I mean, it's like a unique concept, doing it different and offering prize money, yes, but also keeping it simple to the teams and to the drivers. This is what VCO wants to do. I'm not a big fan of the open setup thing, and teams have to prepare for weeks to have a good setup to be successful. So we do it with fixed setups. We do it with, let's say, uniform cars in a race, just to keep this out of the equation and look for the best drivers and the best teams out there.
Just to break it down to the pure competition.
Absolutely.
All right, that sounds like a very nice approach, especially for younger teams that maybe don't have like a stock of engineers that actually can be working on the cars. So that sounds like a very, very nice approach to me. And but one thing you also did is the Simmy Awards last year. And since you're partner of the caliber you are, you also thought about the idea of having a Simmy Award especially for this expo.
Yeah. I mean,
And we will be handing those over later on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got no clue how you do that. Just standing around and give the trophies. But no, I mean, Simmy Awards.
You'll be fine, don't worry about that.
Simmy Awards are another example of, let's say, thinking big and just making clear that VCO wants to partner the whole community, so to look into the various categories. And I think in the first year we had 11 categories, and combined it with a charity thing. So every winner got 1,000 euros or dollars of budget for charity. So we just want to show we give something back to the community and really appreciate what kind of effort they're putting into it. And then when we talked to Kavana, it was a quick thing to say, okay, let's expand this to the special edition, to the Expo edition of the Simmies, and reproduce them again. It's always a big effort to produce these trophies. It's not a cheap thing that you can buy at the art center. It's a proper individual customized thing. So I'm proud that we have them with us, and let's see who wins them.
I mean, we talked about the project that you already have on the pipeline that have been announced. We talked about the special edition of the Simmy Award for the ADAC SimRacing Expo 2021, but I think there is something else to come. Like that's not all just yet, right, Florian?
Absolutely, it's never ending quickly with us. And I mean, at the end of the video, we saw what's next community, and I think there is a clip ready to introduce this.
All right, then I'd say, let's have a look at the video. ERL, Esports Racing League. That sounds amazing. But what exactly does it mean?
Yeah, hopefully it will be amazing. I mean, I would say this is the next step for us. I mean, at the end of the ProSim series last year, or no, it was actually this year, we announced the Esports Racing World Cup because we had the idea to look for the best esports racing team in the world. And from our angle, you can only do this if you consider the various sims. So it's not just iRacing, we are close to iRacing, but we also support R-Factor 2 and Assetto Corsa Competizione. So the idea was to find the best team on all the three platforms. And I think that not many people have tried to do this or done this, but this is the general idea for this World Cup. And when we had announced the World Cup, the Esports Racing World Cup, ERWC, we were then looking into, we need an esports inspired, I would say, or inspired concept for a whole season. So how can we create something, let's say, that proved itself in leagues or games like Rocket League or something? Are there mechanisms that we could also use to set up our own VCO season? And so we brainstormed a lot, and then the Esports Racing League is the outcome. So the ERWC1 at the end of January in next year will kick off the ERL, and then we have a league system running up until the end of the year, then leading up into the next ERWC in 23. So we can now offer, I would say, dates for the whole year, 22 already, and I'm very proud of that because this plannable thing, or to give the teams the opportunity to plan things better, this is also very important to us. So we are looking for the best team out there on 3 different platforms.
And I mean, it's part of the professionalization of sim racing.
I mean, I don't know. Sim racing is so big. You can do whatever you want, and this is so cool. So it's not like that we say this is the way to go. I can only go my way, and VCO can only go its way.
I was just saying, you're just offering your different approach to the whole topic. So.
And I mean, in the community, there are so many mega racing series. Yeah, so every team can enter races on a daily basis and get prize money as well. But our idea is to, as I've said before, to keep it a bit simpler. work with fixed setups, to have the dates during the week, not also on the weekend. So just to do it a bit different, and and we have on offer, I would say, a total of plus $100,000 of prize money. So over the season 22. So it's also money up for grabs for this relatively easy thing that you just jump in the simulator. The track is, let's say, we are not quite clear about that yet, maybe voted 5 minutes earlier. So, and then you just show your talent, and either you win it or you don't.
So we're having a sim racing series held on 3 platforms.
Yeah.
That's new.
Yeah, this is what it's all about to me. If you want to compare teams with another, I would say when we started 1.5 years ago, it was like one team was rather focusing on iRacing, the other maybe on R-Factor 2. But now I think everything merges together, and we see big teams like Coanda doing ACC and winning races there, or Redline as well, and so on. So I think being active on every platform is something that a team not has to do, but it's an option to just do it. And so the idea is to invite 30 teams, so really to have different, I would say, levels of strength as well. I hope we will get together 30 teams who are up for it. These invitations will go out next week, so that we get in an early planning for 22.
So you have really a lot to do on your to-do list, actually. So the ERWC and the ERL are kind of the new pinnacle projects of the VCO. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing before I forget is you cannot do this alone. So we are working closely with RaceSpot, with the SimGrid, also with iRacing and the platforms, ideally themselves. So it's a big team effort, and we really try to take the community with us again. So we will take the commentators from one platform into the broadcast, and we just really try to create an all-new mix. And it will be a tournament style, like having a semi-final and then one winner of each event and so on. So it's a cool concept, and definitely it's our pinnacle series or activation, because it will run throughout the year. I think in total we will then have 12, 13 events. And we've never done this, but we are fired up to make it happen. And to do it again, like experimenting, and to ask the community to get better, and the teams. And final sentence here, we want to make it a team championship. It's about the teams, about the visibility of the sponsors of the teams. And we will support this heavily, that they can shine on this stage.
So you want to hear the feedback of the community. How can people reach you?
I mean, they can reach us via our social media channels. We have a Discord running, which is rather a competitive thing, like for the competitors. But I mean, I know people who have dealt with us before. We are living this topic, and if you send a message to us via Twitter, you get a reply in the evening. So it's like we are doing this actively, and we are not thinking that we know everything, and now we show the world how it's done. So we want the feedback, and we want the suggestions. And to be honest, we are in close contact with a guy who's called Luca Monroe. I would say he's the biggest sim racing fan in the world, and he keeps sending in new ideas. And it's really cool to have this exchange of ideas with people like him, and to get inspired by people that are not even with VCO.
And I mean, you already said how many experts you have at your side to make things work and to make things happen for the community.
Yeah, I mean, experts or doing the job right is paramount, because we can only show or present ourselves to the community via our social channels, via the broadcast quality. And with ERL, we really will try to do something new, and to do it a bit more like esports, and a bit more speed in the broadcasts, and having analysis, discussions, cool music. By the way, I'm proud of that. We have composed music for all the series. It's dedicated to the series. That is amazing. It's a big thing,
Yeah, absolutely. Having your signature tune, that is something very, very impressive. I'm looking forward to seeing more from you guys. But something you mentioned a little bit earlier as well is prize money. Prize money is always something that keeps players motivated, teams motivated to be participating in your series. So how important is prize money in general in sim racing?
I mean, prize money in esports is very important. I mean,
that's where I come from.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm asking about prize money.
You know about it, and I mean, if you look at Dota 2 and they have 40 million in the at the international. I mean,
I chose the wrong game, Florian.
I mean, by the way, we could learn from that.
Yeah.
How can you create in-game items, that the community can buy or whatever? I mean, it's great that there is trading panes and everyone can share the liveries, but I don't know, it would be better for the teams if there was some new ideas there. But let's see, and price...
Like the stickers in CSGO, for example, or the in-game cosmetic items, where teams get their shares when they have their name on them. I get it. That's a very, very interesting approach, and that's a really good idea to transition that, probably.
But it's difficult, because the platforms are not made for this.
Of course not.
But it's like, what can you do externally where you give incentives by VCO? But this is the goal, to think about these things. And then it will get up. Prize money, sorry, I forgot to mention. We do the 100,000 dollars, but we also add a component like working together with Fundraiser. It's a big platform in Canada. So the community has a chance to add the prize pool and get something for that, be it giveaways or being part of the series. I've got no clue if this will work. Maybe we get €5 over the next 12 months, but it's important to do new things, to offer it, and just see if it works and how.
Exactly. If the community accepts and together great things will be achieved, I'm pretty sure. And as we speak, you're announcing the ERL dates up until the staging of the ERWC2 in February 2023. So you like advanced planning, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I think is so much needed, that you give people your series and you say, okay, you can plan with it. Because some series announce their dates, I don't know, 2 weeks before it starts or whatever. But it's getting more and more professional for sure. But here we want to really make sure, also for us, to plan the events, to know when we have to do what. So it's just easier for us as well to do it like this.
Florian, that sounds amazing. That sounds amazing indeed, and I wish you best of luck, and of course everyone involved into the VCO and your partners around to make the things that you plan happen, because I'm really looking forward to it. To me, coming from the esports perspective, it sounds very nice and very well thought through. So how long have you been working on the concept of all these?
Of the ERL?
Yes.
I mean, basically since we announced the ERWC in April, it's like, it's something that changes over time, and you get new. And this is the cool thing about esports or about sim racing. You have got so many influences, and new things come up. There's a new series, and they do a community vote on how do you do reverse grid. Then you get inspired. You say, okay, should we do this? And then at a certain point, I would say 2 months ago, it was clear how we want to do it. And then it was about preparing the ideas and getting everything together. But it's a long way. It's hard work. Things will fail, by the way. This is always happening. And so it's important that we have the backing from the community, that they also allow us to make mistakes or not being perfect. And then I think there's a good future ahead.
I mean, failure is in our nature, obviously. And it's important what you make out of it and what you take out of it. So I wish you best of luck, with very few fails, actually, but time will tell. And it is a very, very interesting endeavor you guys are planning, and I wish you best of luck in realizing everything in all your projects. Any last words from you towards our community?
No, it's not last words. It's the first words. It's
because
like,
I'm wrapping up the panel.
Let's do this and let's grow sim racing. I mean, growing is always like, it's small now. I mean, it doesn't need to grow, but if it grows, hopefully it's fun for everyone, and we keep pushing, and we work like hell for doing something cool. And I'm just grateful for the support and for every positive comment that we receive. And if someone doesn't like us, then watch one of the other 1,000 racing series.
I was about to say, fair enough, right? Florian Haasper, CEO of the Virtual Competition Organization. Thank you so much for taking your time. Please, big round of applause for Florian and the VCO. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're at the end of our stage time right now, but as you know, we will continue with the things we have planned. Today, we have a very big schedule ahead of us. I'll be handing you over into a short commercial break, and then we'll be back with the Sim Racing Trophy. All right, guys, see you soon. All right, everyone, welcome back for day 2 of the ADAC SimRacing Expo 2021. And we're not ready just yet to start our first race of the day, but there is something very interesting for you guys as well. A little talk between me and a good friend of mine, a colleague of mine actually. Please welcome Renee Butler, freelance consultant, all things sim racing. Renee, nice having you here. Thank you so much for joining us today. Well, on such short notice, actually, because this wasn't planned at all.
No, I like spontaneous events, right? It's great to see people again at an event. I really miss that. You know, we have been on millions of events previously, and when the lockdown struck, it was kind of sad not meeting you on other events, right? So it's great to see everyone back in for sim racing.
I mean, I was so happy to see when we had like a queue going up over the bridge, where people are queuing up to come in here into the Ring Boulevard to be a part of the Sim Racing Expo. And I mean, you can see the smile on my face. It makes me really, really happy having live audience here on site. And there are quite a few people, actually.
It's quite good, right? I mean, I'm jealous, right? I would swap with you all day long to be here again, so no worries. But I'm more than happy that you're back in, because I know you happened here previously. Happened here for the truck GP, I remember that as well.
Exactly.
So you're quite known to the Nürburgring area now.
I know. I love it here, and I'm so happy to be back. So I was really honored when I got asked to come back, because I was enjoying 2019 so much. And you mentioned the Truck Racing Grand Prix. I was able to be a reporter at the Truck Racing Grand Prix, talking to the drivers, to the racers, talking to everyone involved. It was just amazing to also like venture in that part of motorsports. But Renee, let's talk about you, because you're the much more interesting person here. So you are not only a commentator, you are not only working as a host, you are also working as a freelance consultant in the sim racing industry. And you told me a little bit earlier, that's why I pulled you up on stage, that you're currently working on a very interesting project.
Yeah, I mean,
tell us a little bit about it, like a little bit. I know it's always NDA and secret and stuff.
Yeah, it's with all the projects, right?
It's just us.
You cannot always say everything, but yeah, as you know, I spent over 10 years by now in the gaming industry. Lots of that on the sim racing side. And I started basically last year to work with the FIA on digital motorsport and how to bring non-endemic brands into the world that we all love, right? I'm a sim racer since, I think, 2004. I did my first TV show about sim racing. That's a long, long time ago now. But besides also working with the guys at Overtake.ug, you know them as well, because it happened on one of the shows, right?
Big shout out, guys. It's you.
I'm actually helping companies or series to look into new innovations for the program. And one of the cool things to see nowadays is, you remember the old times when we always tried to copy TV on Esports?
Absolutely,
to be
sitting
professional.
in our blazers and button-down shirts.
Now it's different.
Sitting on our desk and smiling into the camera and say, hello and welcome to the finals of... Yes, exactly that. You're talking about that.
But now it's the other way around. Now I actually get companies or like real-world motorsport series coming to me and asking, like, okay, what can we do to turn motorsport into something more entertaining? Because not much change there, right? It's still the same broadcast as we saw previously, but on the esports side, no matter if it's sim racing or Counter-Strike, whatever it is, all the gaming in general, we got quite good at that, right? They're entertaining, they have different elements, we have completely different overlays to what we did in the past.
I mean, take the virtual Bundesliga I did as an example. We have a beautiful virtual studio that you won't find in TV. I mean...
It's great to see, right? And for me, it's exciting, because back in the days, we were trying to do TV shows on gaming, and now we actually go back to classic TV and try to find new ways for them to use elements that they see in esports or gaming in general and bring that to their racing series, right? If you now look at a classic, 24-hour race out in the world, it looks the same for the last 15 years. But there's so many new elements that we can bring in from the gaming world, make it more exciting, make it more entertaining and engaging to watch, right? You know that, Twitch chat, right? Everyone wants to be part of the broadcast, right?
Yeah.
And I think that also classic motorsport, classic now in everything out there, need to need to come closer to what their audience nowadays are watching, and they're mostly watching YouTube and Twitch, right? So I'm super happy to working on that. I actually now work with a Red Cross series on that, which will be an interesting project to look into and see how their broadcast can be brought into, let's say, a new age. And yeah, it's pretty exciting times, especially for sim racing and gaming in general.
Why do you think TV programs haven't changed over the past 15 years? Is it because the community, well, the audience can't be as vocal as they can be as an esports?
I think actually that is the case, right? Like, I started my first TV show at NBC Giga, or the original ESL TV, which was TV only, as you know. There was no chat, there was no interaction, there was no feedback besides from production, right? So everyone had a great show and you were like, that's it, we're great. Awesome job, right? Nowadays you go live on Twitch with, like Clash of Clans World Championship, whatever you're doing, and you got thousands and sometimes millions of people telling you exactly if they like what you did or not, right? So TV programs and something like a touring car championship, they never really had to bother about feedback of the community. But now that we have the world of Twitter and Facebook, and for many years, not new, but they see more and more feedback to their series as well, that they're not happy with the broadcast, that they don't like the style, that it takes too long, people want to see the action quite quickly.
Yes, casters, please start the game.
It's always the casters.
We never can't start the games.
We do.
Never us.
Be honest. We always control when the game starts.
Like the button, like start game button. No. But yes, I'm getting what you're saying. So... But this is changing now, obviously.
It is, and it's good to see that, because I think TV in general, or let's say all entertainment broadcast, wherever it is, we always have to go with what the audience wants to see, right? And of course it changed over time, like our entire consumption behavior changed. So why did TV program or broadcast of a big touring car championship did not change, right? Why is it not cool? Let's say that without being...
You said it. That was me. I want you guys to take
really
notes.
Sorry.
I didn't say that, but you're right, because I mean it has a very old school style of conducting a broadcast. Obviously, that's something we talked about yesterday in one of our panels as well. Like, you have so many information that you gather throughout the race. So those information are available. Why not implement that into a broadcast?
We know that from the gaming side. We're talking about API integration, and we basically do it on every single show, right? There's something everywhere. But yeah, you're right. If you look at classic motorsport, for example, it's rarely being used. Okay, it's a bit harder to get the information across than it would be for us in the gaming studio, but it's still doable, right? It's all about bringing the process to their world, which is linear TV broadcasters, and that's a completely different world to production teams that do in gaming.
I know,
I think the change has to happen now, otherwise one day no one watches that anymore. And as much as I'm a sim racer myself, and I started on Microprose Grand Prix 1 all the way back, I still want to watch real-life motorsport. I can watch both in one series. That's a thing that we nowadays see, right? Which is completely cool. But I still want real motorsport to be around. But for that, real motorsport has to also enter the new age.
Is there something that has already been done in a good way regarding the renewal of broadcast structures in motorsports?
We've seen them getting more compact. That's a good start. Like back in the days, linear TV broadcast crews were like 3 times as big as gaming.
Yep.
It gets better now. We see series, obviously, like Formula E, that try out new formats. Of course, they get a lot of bad feedback.
That's what I was trying to hint to. You got it. Nice.
They sometimes get a lot of bad feedback for the new stuff they're doing, but we also know that's mostly a vocal minority, because the racing is still good. I traveled with them for 2 years. That was great racing we saw around the world, right? I can understand it's not everyone's type. That's fine. There's so many different motorsports, right? Some like rallycross, rally, touring car, Formula 1, whatever you like. But we need to have the chance to at least try new elements to be viable.
But also what I feel about traditional sports who are not used to change, I'm trying to phrase it as diplomatically as possible, that they're always against change, even if it's good. For example, the Halo in F1. Right? So everyone was against it, and now it's a good thing. Turns out it saves people's lives. So would you say that the community has to become a bit more open-minded or a bit more daring when it comes to change?
It's hard to tell when you nowadays look at social media. I'm not quite sure if people are open. But no, it's...
Keep in mind, a very vocal minority.
It's like, I think that's the case. I mean, we have to get used to that nowadays. We will see feedback wherever we are in the world, right? That wasn't the case 15 years ago. People didn't know what someone in the other city was thinking about their TV program, but nowadays we get that input. So now it's the time to figure out how we can validate that correctly, and how we figure out if is that really my major target audience, or is it an audience like, sometimes there's a small part that still watches the event but loves to rip it apart. Right?
Yes, of course.
That's the same with our commentary, right? There's always a vocal minority that's like, I don't like her at all, but they're still every time.
I was about to say, but he's always there. He's always there, that person.
So how we take feedback and how we turn that into innovation in terms of broadcasting, in terms of formats for racing, or any other thing, I think that's a new research field. I'm not an expert on that anyway, but we've got experts for that.
We can put our two.
Yeah, we need to look into that now. It's like, what do we do with all the information we have from our audience, and how do we turn that into a broadcast or a product that everyone wants to see? Because in the end, also if they constantly criticize you, they still like your product, because that's why they're watching, that's why they criticize.
I was about to say, that's why they're getting vocal, that's why they're trying to bring in their opinion, because they somehow want to see change, even if the feedback is not as constructive as one might wish for from time to time.
Wait, telling you to just get out of the way and get the game started is not constructive feedback?
Sadly not.
I really have to change my Twitch behavior. Sorry, I will delete all my accounts.
But still, I mean, it is a process.
It definitely is, and we see that everywhere. I mean, if you look at, for example, let's be sim racing specific. A few years ago, many years ago by now, we started with programs that brought sim racers to real motorsport, right? It was 1 out of 1 million, basically. And people were like, the media was like, okay, sim racers, the best ones, they could do real racing, and they might even be able to win. If we look at nowadays, first of all, nearly all the top guys in Formula 1 are sim racers. I got a hybrid team myself, right? So I got a racing team that does VLN and RCN plus sim racing.
And you race yourself, don't you?
I race in VLN. So we all do sim racing, and our mechanics, race engineers, and drivers, they're all sim racers. We started this in 2019, and they're not the top of, not that they're bad because they're around, but they're not the top of the world, I would say. And still, since 2000...
He's just trying to motivate you, you know?
I tried to be politically correct,
He saw your potential, and he recognizes your potential, but he feels like you guys need a little push, and that you can make it to the... That's basically what he's trying to say, all right? You guys keep...
It didn't try to wreck them, but look at them. It's like since 2019, we're racing,
that's
we're racing here at the Nürburgring, and we never had a single crash. So, sorry, I don't believe in the old saying that 1 out of 1 million of sim racers would be good in a real car. I think the majority of sim racers that do competitive sim racing doesn't need to be at the top, but create racecraft from driving out there in the online world. They mostly, if it's not down to fitness or the additional
all
aspects,
the factors,
they will all do good in a car. One of our drivers, Richard Schäfer, he got a real-life track record here at the Nürburgring in our class in his second race as a sim racer.
Can we please take a second?
He's actually the guy that's the tallest from that group.
And applaud to that.
So he now got...
I mean, that's not something everyone can say about themselves.
It's like he got a real-life Nürburgring track record as a sim racer.
Congratulations.
Right? He did not win Nissan GT Academy or the typical programs. He's a, let's say, everyday sim racer, although he's a very good one. But he's an everyday sim racer, and he managed to do very, very well in the real world.
He loves you, I'm sure.
I'd probably lose half of my team after this interview, so if you want to sign up, hit me up. But no, I just love that we get the acceptance of sim racing, and lockdown definitely helped a lot, the acceptance in terms of sim racing. And besides my program, there are way more that try to help sim racers getting into real cars. And it's great to see that we get away from this topic of it's 1 in a million. Because there's so many sim racers, and I think there are tons of talent that could win all kinds of sim racing and motorsport championships.
That is so interesting to hear. Something I thought about yesterday as well is I would love seeing a team compete in a series where you have to drive in a real car, on a real tarmac, and in your sim.
There's one.
We need more of that.
more of that. I mean, there's the SRO series currently, right? That's doing it on Assetto Corsa Competizioni. There are a few other championships considering that for the next years, either having like an additional esports element or really tying that into the series. And I think it's a great way to also bring more people closer to motorsport, because maybe some of us, in terms of fit, I'm not fit enough. I'm happy if I survive the real Nürburgring 24 hours. If I make that, I'm happy. But some of them might never make it into a real car due to other circumstances. But wouldn't it be great if they could be part of Williams, Ferrari, whatever it is out there in the world, and being on their sim team and actually helping them to win a big world championship? Because it could be both. It could be real and sim.
Sure. That sounds so interesting, Rennie, and I'm really, really happy that I dragged you spontaneously on stage, because that was very
Thanks for the invite, obviously.
That was very, very insightful and really interesting, and I'm really excited to see what the future for sim racing, and especially broadcast and sim racing and in traditional motorsports, will hold for us as a community. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks everyone for actually coming to SimRacing Expo. Really appreciate that you travel in the middle of nowhere. I live here, right? It's not easy, but I love that everyone is here and actually made the effort.
That is really amazing to see. Guys, we are now almost ready to start our first race. So the Sim Racing Professional Trophy will be starting in just a bit, and Radio Show Limited will be conducting the race for you guys, at least, well, the vocal part. So guys, enjoy the Sim Racing Trophy, and I'll see you back in a bit.
Nobody could make her feel down. She was always smiling from it to it, and everybody wanted it round. Will she ever know the feeling of tears? All she said to them was, live your life just like you're young again. No, don't you cry, just get back up again. 'Cause she wanna laugh and live it better. She wanna love and stay together. She wanna smile and be forever.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome along. Good to have your company. It's John Hindhoff and Nick Damon in the RSL Global Broadcast Centre. A virtually beautiful day at the Nürburgring Nordschleife for the Community Trophy. We're into a qualifying session, just about 45 seconds in, and we have around a dozen drivers out on the circuit at the moment. Nick Damon, you've seen this sort of racing before, and we are exclusively GT4 here.
GT4, yes. With you'll be pleased to know that the Porsche Cayman is the most popular choice of the drivers involved, but obviously for me there's also Maserati, currently down in 11th, that's just because he's warming up. One Maserati, one Audi and one Aston Martin, and a plethora of Cayman GT4s will be taking on I think it's a 45-minute race, isn't it, after 10-minute qualifying, round another virtual Nürburgring.
Max Rührig in the Audi number 12 is our fastest driver at the moment. Just waiting for the representative times to come in. I think he may just be there by dint of the fact that he was first out. So picking up some of the cars, team ACR, Chris McDade in the number 6. That's the rainbow and ACR coloured car with the white roof and the green mirrors. So, yeah, that is the number 6. Starting to get some times coming in now.
This, of course, is being run on ACC. I said, of course, Competizione, the platform that particularly specialises in GT3 and GT4 racing. Obviously, very closely linked to the SRO, Stefan Mattel organisation, and of course the series that's formerly known as the Blanc Pan. What's it called now? It's GT Endurance, isn't it? It's
Fanatec.
something. Yeah, no, it's Fanatec. Yes, right. Yeah,
Fanatec.
Fanatec picked up. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, sorry.
Don't look at me like that. I do know these things.
Yes, it's actually now a championship supported by a manufacturer of sim racing, and of course real wheels. Of course, as you were saying yesterday, they're taking the real wheel business because they are manufacturing the M4 GT3.
Yeah, and Bentley.
And Bentley
as well. Julian Kuhns for Euronics Gaming in that classic livery with the blue and yellow. That's another Cayman GT4, 718 Cayman, but still using the 4-litre engine, although not the same 4-litre engine architecture as is in the 911 GT3 and the Cup cars. These GT4 running in the Porsche Sprint Championships at various parts of the world, including in the UK, the Cayman Island, Visit Cayman Island Porsche Sprint Challenge, which supports British GT. Julian just heading down the hill here at the Nürburgring up towards the NGK chicane. Quite a complex steering wheel on that as well, all carbon fibre. The driving the road and the race version of that a little bit later on this year in real world. Forward to getting the race car out at Silverstone, although on a chilly November day that could be a bit of fun.
Yeah, well, yeah, you get 2.5 hours to warm the tyres up and you'll be fine.
Absolutely.
I just you put a nice bit of grease on there as well, a bit of drizzle.
It will be just like that. Down towards turn 1. Let's take a lap with Julian then in the Euronics Gaming car. It's a 2:03 last time around. Just head off into the countryside for a moment, pick someone else up. Fabian Farbeck, Flyby Esports. It's the gold, black and grey car. That's the number 71 for Fabian. 7-1. He at the moment just getting up to pace, yet to put in a lap. And as I say that, no, they're still to come through the last part of the track. So it is Florian Bodin in the number 3. Michele Perella.
Do you want to run down by a number order? No, I imagine the numbers in. So the,
well done.
first, in car number 1, it's Florian Barres here with the Porsche. Then it's Tom Moreira with another Porsche in 2. In 3, it's Florian Burden with a Porsche. And then it's the 6th car of Chris McDade, the 7 car of Lucas Scacola, who's going to win. He's got the Maserati. Yes. Then the Aston Martin of Patrick Surdkat, Max Jarorig in the Audi. So they're right in the middle there. 7, 10 and 12 are your independents who've decided not to have a Porsche. The rest of the cars are all Porsches. It's the 22 of Sebastian Zajac, the 43 of Michele Pereira, Julien Kunz in the 53, Fabian Fabeck in the 71, and Maximilian Pral in the 95.
We're not going to miss the number 2, courtesy of the fact that it's chrome purple with purple rims. I do like a colour matched rim on a race car.
That looks like something. That looks like being wrapped by one of those supercar redesigner programs where they go, "Oh, I'm going to make I've got this lovely car. Well, but for this half-hour program, we're going to make it look awful."
It's the Rovax Racing GT team across the line in this community trophy and goes up to the pole provisionally with a 2:03.6. Now to the line, Chris McDade in the Rainbow Porsche for Team ACR.
Those of you with us yesterday when we had the TCRs going around the full Nordschleife Grand Prix Strecker, and they were doing about 2:07s, weren't they?
Good point. I know.
Yeah,
the last 3 minutes of qualifying, by the way.
So this is quite accurate, with the GT4s being a little bit quicker. On the whole, the more straights there are, the bigger the advantage over lap time for GT4 over TCR, isn't that the case? That
is the case because TCRs are quite aerodynamically efficient and they are very good round the twisties. And I mean very good indeed. In IMSA racing, in the Michelin Pilot Challenge, places like Lime Rock Park, you see TCRs qualifying ahead of GT4s. Now, in fairness, in IMSA, they actually turn the TCRs down a little bit to try and stop that from happening. So they don't have the full 350 horsepower that the full house cars have in other championships. They're probably only running about 320 over there. That'll give you an idea how efficient and what a good racing car TCRs are. GT4s have come a very long way. Even in a relatively short time, doing times now that GT3s were doing not so very long ago, and at circuits like Spa, they are incredibly quick in a straight line. They're still not very aerodynamically dependent, although there are 1 or 2 specials that have been built for the Nürburgring Nordschleife in particular, based on GT4s. I drove one of those in a 24-hour race at Kota. Aston Martin GT8, which had a lot more aero on, which meant it was as quick as a GT3 through the twisties, but it was a bit draggy down the straight.
Yes.
That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it.
Well, these cars keep going past you. It's just the drag.
It's not the drag, love. It's the drag. So, still at the top, Tom Tyler in the Porsche 718 GT4 as McDade comes to the line. His splits aren't bad. 4th position at the moment, stays in 4th position. Following him through, Florian Baudin for the Deutsche Payment at Race Union team. Nice livery on that car with the mainly white machine, orange highlights and orange rims.
Yes. Yeah. Obviously, the rim customization, obviously an easy thing to do on this particular program because they've all gone for it.
So Baudin to the top with that last lap, down to 2:03.2. My goodness, that is a good time. So, Tom Raya trying to make a difference. His splits, he's got to find half a second here in a similar car to Florian. Baudin in the 718 we saw a moment or 2 ago. This, I think, is going to be the last lap for Tom as he pitches the car in off the curb. That is a very compliant suspension setup there on that chrome purple GT4.
You've got a lot of weight in the GT4s. That you really feel that, oddly, even though they probably are not quite as heavy or in many ways as the GT3s, the lack of area makes you really feel the momentum of those cars. Remember, we ran one of these GT4s around Silverstone for a 12-hour race, and we were racing with J.M. Lippmann, who's a quite well-known international gentleman driver, And I said, this thing feels heavy. And Joe was going to tell you how understeer he was. And he just had a test in the real one as the Maserati's just pulling off at the end of qualifying. he just it's fine. He's not going for a breakdown truck. He just had a test in the real one, John. And he said, yeah, that's what they feel like in real life, heavy and you feel the weight of the whole thing. But that's good.
They're based on a road car.
Exactly. Yeah. They are a road car that's become a race car. They are not.
So we are getting ready for the race, and it will be Florian who lines up on the front row. Tom in second, that's 2 Porsches. Then it's Chris McDade in third position. The first non-Porsche is the Aston Martin. Hurrah for the Aston Martin GT4, and that is Patrick Sodercat. Patrick we've spoken about many times in the past. Then it's more Porsches all the way down to 9th position, and the Maserati Gran Turismo MC GT4. You're very excited about the new Maserati? Likely to be a GT3 car?
I'll be even more excited if I can afford it.
Are you excited about the race car coming back? Because your favourite race car is still the MC12.
I know. I am quite excited about that, actually. I'm going to stop being cool about it and go, yeah, I'm quite excited, to be honest.
How do you feel about Maserati potentially becoming an electric or a hybrid brand then, or does that not matter if it's done correctly?
Everyone's going to become an electric or hybrid brand eventually. I think they've decided to differentiate themselves inside the Stellantis brand, and that's what they've gone for. I think possibly it's a little bit early, but 10 starters apparently.
Yeah. Pirella just dropping onto the back of the grid in their Porsche. That's Michele. Pirella in the number 43. So 30 seconds to the start.
The question is it going to be a clutch start or a rolling start? Most GT4 races are rolling, aren't they?
Well, they aren't on a grid, in grid order, but they have lined up like that. So we'll take this from what we see. 10 seconds, stand by. You really need a virtual race
10 seconds to go.
There's the engines.
Oh.
And we are rolling. Aston Martin didn't get away.
This is a
formation lap.
Yeah.
This is a formation lap, so they'll have to get back into line before they come back around next time.
One of the differences between ACC, City Corsa Competizione, and iRacing is that your car doesn't quite exist during the warm-up laps. So you can't have an accident on the warm-up lap. You see the car drove through it. It will affect you're a ghost car until you get going, and then you exist. Which kind of does avoid some of the really unnecessary contact incidents on the warm-up lap you have sometimes with iRacing rolling starts.
Chris McDade there with the Union flag on the door of his Porsche.
Oh, we have 12 starters now. That's all been sorted out.
Yeah. They must have been just let out the pits.
Yeah,
that's the way it works. Aston is rolling as well. Hurrah.
Yeah.
So I tell you, if one or two drivers just shuffling themselves around. Let's see if we get the green flag as they come round this time. Remember, all of these drivers are actually at the Nürburgring in the Actual Racer rig.
As we know, proper shake you all about, move you around,
yes,
feel it in three-dimension rig. So they're battling against all the elements.
Yeah, absolutely right. I think we're going to go for a restart of the session. Our live timing hasn't started counting down yet, and we've still got the number 22 sitting on the grid. And that is Sebastian Zajac. So I think there was a couple of people late on parade there, which would be Rajak and the Sol Audi on the grid as well, which is the number 12.
He's
looking
there.
particularly stock at the moment. That number 12 Audi for Maxi Röhrig.
Well, of course, last weekend we saw before that we were at Barcelona. We saw the GT4 Audi.
That's not the new version of the car.
That's the GT4 Audi.
That's the GT4, yes, of course.
And that was going really, really well till it wasn't. It ended up with a mysterious ABS braking circuit issue, and they just couldn't run it because it was a bit unsafe.
ABS on GT4 cars. Your choice on a GT4 car as a manufacturer of GTs is, do you base it on the road car and upgrade the bits that you need to upgrade? So forget about all the safety equipment, that goes without saying.
Yep.
Or do you back engineer it from your GT3 if you've got one, which tends to make them pretty much bulletproof in terms of racing, but it makes the parts very much more expensive. So Audi have tended to go the former. So the GT4 car is a mildly modified road car, whereas AMG, for example, with the Mercedes, they've tended to go the other way. So it's basically a downgraded, less bewinged GT3, which makes things like the corners, the suspension and stuff like that actually quite expensive if you break them. But they are race items. Like quite a lot on the early versions of the Audi GT4s were road car items.
Yeah.
And that's indeed the Aston Martin that I drove was basically a road car. So the paddle shift system wasn't actually a gearbox; it was an automatic gearbox, what Aston called sport shift, and that was, that wasn't a true racing system. It didn't have cogs in the box, whereas the GT3, of course, did. And ABS is one of those things that you can follow along with that. Do you modify a road car ABS? They get a little bit sticky sometimes with racing tyres, with slicks. And you tend to be driving a racing car, particularly at places like the Nürburgring on the North Loop, on the Nordschleife, a bit beyond the parameters of what's been
Programmed in for the M25,
for your normal, even spirited driving in your street cars. I've got a Porsche here that is somewhat recalcitrant. This is the number 43.
That's Michele Pirella.
Michele was a wee bit late on parade, I think. And he's done the Endurance Cup and the World Cup in the past. That Fanatec and Predator supported car does now get away. Oh, it does not.
Rolls away, stops, rolls away, stops. I think he may be doing a bit of calibration, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think what we're going to do is give the guys a little bit of technical time, and we'll be back with the start of this race in just a moment.
everybody wondered around. Will she ever know the feeling of tears? All she said to them was live your life just like you're young again. No, don't you cry, just get back up again. 'Cause if you wanna laugh, then live it better. If you want love, then stay together. If you wanna smile, then be forever young again. Young again. She was the curious kind. To hate, she was blind. Always love on her mind. Just come admit, she couldn't quite figure out what fear's all about. So she put it aside all night, all day. And everybody talked about her. Said there must be something wrong with this girl. All she said to them was live your life just like you're young again. No, don't you cry, just get back up again. 'Cause if you wanna laugh, then live it better. If you want love, then stay together. If you wanna smile, then be forever young again. Young again.
Wanna be the person that you call up when you're down. Wanna be the first who knows all of your deepest secrets. Can I be the one who wakes you up before you missed your ride? 'Cause I wanna be close to you, and I wanna show you something new. You gotta know, every day I got your back, yeah, you can count on me for that. So put your hand in mine, I will be there every day. When you're sick of the climb, I will make sure it's okay. I know you didn't ask for any of this, but we reach for the sky. That's what flying colors now. Gonna try to keep the pace, but someday we will find that the world has changed, but we stay true to each other. I will always be there for you whenever you need my help. I'm taking my time to be your rock. I don't ever wanna be apart. You gotta know, every day I got your back, yeah, you can count on me for that. So put your hand in mine, I will be there every day. When you're sick of the climb, I will make sure it's okay. I know you didn't ask for any of this, but we reach for the sky. That's what flying colors now. Show you something new. You gotta know, every day I got your back. Yeah, you can count on me. Yeah. So put your hand in mine, I will be there every day. When you're sick of the climb, I will make sure it's okay. I know you didn't ask for any of this, but we reach for the sky. That's what flying colors now. That's what flying colors now. I wanna be close to you. I'm gonna show you something new. I wanna be close to you. I'm gonna show you something new. Taking my time to be your rock. Don't ever wanna be apart. You gotta know.
När morgonen gryr och dimman ligger tät bland bergen, då dansar gruvfriden. Osynlig för blotta ögat, men med påtaglig närvaro, dansar gruvfrun. När natthimlen glittrar och de djupa skogarna tystnat, då dansar gruvfrun. Påtaglig och vacker, iklädd ljusgrå slöja, dansar gruvfrun. När natthimlen glittrar och de djupa skogarna tystnat, då dansar gruvfrun. Påtaglig och vacker, iklädd ljusgrå slöja, dansar gruvfrun. Osynlig för blotta ögat, men med påtaglig närvaro, dansar gruvfrun. virtual.
Hey guys, hello everyone and welcome back to day 2 of the ADAC SimRacing Expo 2021. My name is Melly and yes, we have a lot of things to do actually. There are a lot of to-do boxes to check on our agenda today, and one of the most anticipated slots of today, at least from my side, I love prize giving, you know, you have to know about me, is the Simmy Awards, especially for the expo here at the Nürburgring, which I'm really, really excited about. So, I mean, you're seeing the trophies right behind. I can actually show you one of those beautiful trophies that we're going to hand over in 4 different categories, 5 in total actually, but the 5th category can be chosen when the weekend is over. But later, more to that. For that, I would kindly ask my co-host here up on stage with me, who's no one less than CEO of the VCO, Florian Haasper. Florian, it is already time to hand over our Simmy Awards. We have spoken about it in your stage time, during the VCO stage time, and now it's time. How excited are you?
Oh, well, I'm excited. I also like prize givings, especially if it's our own prizes that we give away. And yeah, it's something new. I mean, normally we honor the fastest drivers only, or the best teams of the year and so on, or the best photography or video content. But now it's really expo related, I would say, the best hardware announcement, the best booth design and concept and so on. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to find out who the winners are.
I mean, we're broadcasting throughout the day, so our stream is running, and there might be some new viewers with us on stream, by the way. Hi, and thank you for joining us. Maybe you could just quickly wrap up what the Simmy Awards actually are.
Yeah, I mean, the Simmy Awards, we talked about this earlier. We are very close to the community, and we want to give something back to the community with VCO. And so the Simmy Awards are the big symbol for that. So we created them last year, and we asked the community to nominate their heroes in 11 categories it was. And so we had a nomination phase and then the voting phase. And we knew in the end the winners, and it was on the, I think it's called Boxing Day in English, the second day of Christmas festivities, that we did the awards ceremony. And it was a big success for us, because I think everyone who got a Simmy was happy about it, and it meant something to him or her. And yeah, we continue with this project for this year. So the nomination phase this year will start in November, 1st November, then 2 weeks nomination, and then the elections or the voting.
Exactly, because it is really important to point out that this is not the whole proper Simmy Awards. This is the Simmy Awards ADAC SimRacing Expo 21 edition, pretty much. So we have 5 categories. We've already talked about it a little. So we have 4 that we're giving out now, because the 5th category is
the best driver.
Exactly.
And so we need races first, yeah?
Exactly. So first of all that, and tomorrow is also a day of the SimRacing Expo, so we have to wait for that as well. So, but we have the honor of honoring at least 4 of the 5 categories now today here on the stage at the ADAC SimRacing Expo. And I'm really, really excited about that. So we have, as already said, 5 categories in total, and 4 of them which we're giving out now, to repeat myself once again. And the first category would be the best TEAMBOX design. So we have our paddock here, we have our pit boxes.
It's amazing. I mean, you know, I come from real motor racing, so I know garages and all that. So for the first time, it feels like that. You know, I also said that I'm connected to BS competition, so we put a lot of effort into this thing. So I know how hard it is to build a proper box design and so on. And yeah, I just love it to pass by there, see the drivers there, and all the team items. So it's a good stuff.
So I would say, let's talk about the categories first. Or do we want to hand out the prize already? Flo, it's your Simmy Awards, so let's do it
let's do it straight away. You mentioned the TEAMBOX, so we start with them. Huh?
All right, then I'd say, please put your hands together for a winner of the category Best TEAMBOX Design BS Plus Competition. Congratulations, and this is your Simmy Award. Florian, we'll hand it over.
It feels a bit awkward, to be honest, but I didn't decide this, so congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. What a great result, what a great prize.
Our first Simmy Award being handed over, and I must say, I voted for you, but as my followers and people that know me know, I'm a very, very equine enthusiastic person. I have horses. So the zebra, I loved your display, I loved your box. I voted for you.
Wow, that's nice to hear. The zebra fans are getting more and more, and yeah, I really like our booth as well as of course the others. I think we are moving to the next level here in terms of how we present ourselves. Yeah.
It is amazing, isn't it? But well, thank you so much for your amazing booth design, and congratulations once again for your Simmy Award.
Thank you.
Florian, that was our first award. That means 3 more to come for now. So the second category will be Best New Hardware Announcement. And we had quite a few here at the Expo, I must say. But we've all seen the videos. We've all seen what that manufacturer has actually shown us in their digital showcase. And therefore, this Simmy Award goes to Next Level Racing.
Wherever they are.
I'm accepting the award on behalf of Next Level Racing because, as already said, they're one of our digital exhibitioners and therefore not on site. But guys, this is for you, so congratulations. I will take good care of it. It will look pretty in my shelf, I must say. But no, let's put it here for just a second because we're not done just yet. The next category will be
the best booth activation. So it is. The Simmy for that.
Exactly. And do you want to announce the winner of this one?
The best boost activation, it's TEAMBOX.
Congratulations to TEAMBOX for the best booth activation. There we go. Congratulations.
Thank you.
But I mean, you guys are doing amazing work over there, but I must say, I think deciding who's going to win this award wasn't too easy, but maybe you can tell our friends on stream and on site what you guys are actually doing at your booth.
Sure. First, thanks for the award, Florian, and everybody who voted for it. TEAMBOX, we've brought a small activation booth where we have a simulator and 10 passengers. So when we have a professional driver in there, can get 10 people sitting next to them as a shotgunner and feel whatever's happening in the car. So it's a nice little experience for everybody that do not want to get in the sim, and also a nice way to immerse people into the experience and give memorable experiences.
Absolutely, that sounds really, really amazing, because when do you get the chance to be a shotgun driver, right? Next to a professional driver, that is really amazing. So we can find you at the back of the expo area, right?
Just right there, straight up front.
All right, then, there we go. All right, thank you so much.
I have to hand it out. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you too. Take care. All right, that's already 3 out of 4 awards, Florian. And I mean, the best booth concept. I must say, I had the honor of being here 2019 already, and I was allowed to come back on 2021, which I was really happy about. And seeing how the booth and also the exhibitioners have developed their appearances here on site over the course of those, well, not really 2 years, but you know what I'm talking about.
No, actually not, because it's my first Sim Expo, so I'm just overwhelmed or really impressed of the high standard. And I mean, basically the products often are the same, like sim rigs or accessories and so on, but to do it in a new way and to find your own way of presentation, I think this is so cool to see that.
And it's also a very difficult thing to do because, I mean, you have just a limited area of space that you have to outfit with your exhibition things or the other things that you want to exhibit. Sorry, I'm not a native speaker. This one goes on me. But I wouldn't want to be in the shoes of the lead designer of these booths, actually, because
a great creative process. You need to be creative for that, and I think they have shown it that they are.
All of our exhibitionists, but one stood out obviously and therefore took the cake here in our 4th category, Best Booth Concept. So please put your hands together for Virtual Racing Lounge.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, congratulations.
Shall we hand over the trophy first, I would say?
Of course.
Yeah, you take it. Yeah, congrats. Yeah.
I mean, it's really, really cozy at your place. I walked by a few times and it was always jam-packed, which is always nice to see. So you're doing a few things right, obviously, now having the Simmy Award for the Best Booth Concept.
Yeah, at first, thanks for the award, you two. We wanted to do something new this year. As we are a lounge and a shop, we thought we bring the whole shop and the lounge to the expo so people can get together, connect with each other, try simulators, try hardware, and also take it with home. So and we're really honored to get this award. Thanks a lot.
I mean, it could be seen as a motivation for next year, right? Because we now expect more from you guys.
Wow, that's a tough one. We'll do our very best.
I mean, you're doing a good thing now. If you want to find via VRL, you are located in the right end of the expo, right?
Right next to TEAMBOX.
Exactly. When you walk in and just walk down the path, you will more or less just walk through towards your booth, correct?
Exactly. I mean, you will see the three colors. They're standing out a little bit from all the others. So feel free to visit us.
But that sounds really good. How are you enjoying the SimRacing Expo so far? That I haven't asked yet.
I mean, as we hadn't had the chance last year to come, we're really, really happy that it actually happened and that there are so many people here. And we love to get in touch with all our friends, all the teams, all our friends from Heusingveld, from all the other manufacturers. So we're really, really happy to be here again, and hopefully never stops.
And we're really happy having you. So thank you so much for being here with your amazing booth, and congratulations once again.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, then, Florian, that was our 4 categories out of 5. The 5th one obviously being handed out at the end of the SimRacing Expo for the best driver at the Expo.
I think it's a very big honor if you become voted the best driver, because doing it on site in an offline event, I think this is something with an extra challenge than just doing it from your home rig at home. So I'm really excited to see who this will be. And I'm also really happy that it means actually something to the people that receive these awards, because this gives us the, I would say, motivation to keep going with the Simmy Awards.
That sounds really lovely. Florian, thank you so much for helping me out here on stage for the Simmy Awards. And you guys will be back after a very short break with our next stage time with Fanatec. So please don't run away too far, because that's going to be really, really interesting. So see you there.
Virtual.